Hi, I just wanted to do a quick video. I'm doing caulking, caulking this countertop, and I see a lot of times on YouTube people show caulking and how they do it, and I don't think I've ever seen this trick, and it helps me a lot. Where a gap is just about 1/8 of an inch or bigger. A lot of times what happens when caulking goes in, and as it dries it basically cracks later on, so it looks good for a couple of weeks and then it cracks, and so what I do to prevent that is I take a strip of good old toilet paper and basically just pack it into the it's a bit difficult to do it with one hand, but basically pack it right into the seam that I'm caulking, and it looks something like this. I've already put some toilet paper in here, and so I'm going to do the same for the rest of the countertop here, and then I'm going to caulk it. So I'll put the remainder in, and then I'll turn the camera back on to show you guys what the final result looks like, and then I'll caulk it. So here's the gap that's now packed with toilet paper, and I'll just dab it in like this. And basically the whole idea for it is to provide some backing for the caulking material when it goes in, so that it doesn't fall through and doesn't crack later on. So I'm going to put my camera on tripod now and show you guys how I do caulking. All right, and now I'm just gonna caulk this joint. The key to successful outcome is to make sure that you put as little caulking material as possible. The less material you put, the better your joints will look. And the other key thing is to have some water next to you, and this is to wet your finger to wipe the caulking material. If you do it with your finger dry, it's just going to create a mess. When you wet your finger, it comes out nice and smooth, and if you put little material, then it's just going to be a nice tight joint. So let's see how we do this. It's a bigger joint, so I just want to fill it all the way, but put just enough so that I don't overfill it. Okay, and now just gonna wipe it, and then have a paper towel close to you so that you can wipe your finger as you remove excess material from the joint. I hope you can see it from there. I'm just wiping. It's a little more than I usually like, but no big deal. It comes right off nicely, and because I'm wetting my finger all the time, the caulking doesn't stick to my finger, and I just create this nice smooth sim. And if there's caulking on either of the surfaces where you don't want it to be, just continue wiping, but don't press into the joint anymore, because now you've got the joint nice and smooth. And so I'm just creating, just gonna adjust it here, and once I finish now, I'll show you the closer look. There we go. And I'm going to put just a little bit into that corner. Just it. Okay. And that's it. And it's nice and seamless. Just gonna take my phone out so that you can see it better. And here is our joint. lighting isn't the best. Hopefully you can see it, but that gives you the idea. And so that's an easy way to do your caulking, and I'm gonna caulk the same way around this whole countertop. Yeah, I've got a couple of joints where I'll need to fill with the toilet paper just because the gaps are a little too wide. So I'll do the same exercise over and over until I'm done. So I hope. So just continuing a very thin bead of caulking all throughout, just enough to fill the joint. And the key thing is when you're cutting the tube for the first time, to cut off just the tip. I'm gonna try and remove the stuck on material here so that you can see. Just cutting off the tip, hopefully that's visible. Just enough for the material to start coming out and no more. And this will always create a nice thin bead, and you'll never have a mess on your hands. Well, you may have a mess on your hands, but it's going to be the kind of mess you can manage. And so now we're just, I'm going to wet my finger and start wiping excess off. Some of it comes off just because the joint is pretty wide, but not wide enough to start filling it with paper. And so we're just continuing like this. A little bit of access on the sides, and if that happens, no big deal. Just continue wiping it, but don't press your finger into the joint too much, so that you don't start taking out material from the joint itself. You're just wiping on the sides at this point. And so there we go. And it's nice thin bead, nice tight joint. Hopefully you guys can see it. These lines here, that's actually grout haze. I'm gonna remove that. I just finished grouting this backsplash, so I'm gonna remove this. As far as caulking goes, that's just about perfect. I'll finish this countertop and I'll show you what the finished product looks like. And here's the finished product, caulking installed all around. Apologies for the lighting, it's not the best here in this kitchen. So there we go. We'll just do a close-up. So all around. And as I said before, key is to put as little caulking as possible, and that can only be done if the caulking tube is cut right at the very tip, so that a very thin bead of caulking comes out when you squeeze your gun trigger. And then if you have bigger gaps, more than 1/8 of an inch, pack those with toilet paper or paper towels or anything like that, that just provides enough support for the caulking material so that it doesn't fall through, and then your joints will never crack, and your caulking job will be good for years to come for you to enjoy. Hope this helps you, and good luck with your project.